Well, I think as we jump right into this one, Razor, as we welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, after the Bruins lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2 on Saturday night, I don't really even I don't really want to get into the numbers of the game. Like sometimes we get into some of the numbers and ice time, whatever, shots, ice time, this, that, all the shit, you know. I want to talk eye test. I want to talk feel for this one more than anything. So you had a different perspective on it, watching it differently than I did. Work versus, I'll call it pleasure. It's still work because of what you do, but you saw it differently than you watched it. I mean, differently than I did. So when you watch it as more of a, I'll call it passive viewer than sitting in there and making, things to talk, break down at the broadcast. How did you feel watching the game where the Bruins lose 5-2 to the Leafs?
Yes, I watched the first period sitting at a table at dinner with my family. My parents came into town on Friday night, so we
Very
went out
nice.
for a
Yep.
little dinner. It was awesome, and I sat with my son and we watched the first period while we were eating dinner at the bar, and I thought it was good. To be honest, I thought they came out. I liked the way Pasternak was skating. I liked they moved around. They got the first goal, power play, Taylor Hall. I didn't think it was a goal. We couldn't hear it. I didn't hear it, and I didn't go back to hear it either. Watching it, I'm like, that's not a goal. I don't, it didn't even look like the puck went in. But it's 1-1, and that's okay. And then it from then on, the second period was not good. When it came to the eye test, and then the third period felt even worse, and a lot of it's, and I'm sure we're getting to that, is the back end and
Mhm.
the pressure and we talked about it. What's it going to look like when you go into Toronto and you have to play a really tough, a really skilled forward group of players? What's the defense core going to look like? And that's where, for me, the eye test didn't pass. So I thought they were decent. I thought they were good in the first period. I thought they came out with the right kind of energy, the right kind of show up on time. But over the 60 minutes, it looks as though they've got a lot more work to do. What was your eye test?
Oh,
What were you guys saying? Mark this. What was the breakdown? What did
yeah,
we focus on in the green room?
I would say a decent first period. I didn't think great. We didn't think great. I thought it was decent. I thought, yes, they started well. Yes, they were engaged. Okay. Um, we started talking. Barry and I started talking more about look at these chances from the mid slot area, somewhere within 15 feet of Ullmark, even in the first period.
Yeah,
The missed coverage was
And
evident.
and I'll interrupt because I should have added on. My little guy's a goalie, so I'm looking at Allmark, and he looked sharp, looked
Yeah.
really good tonight. He passed my eye test tonight. He was ready to go. He looked sharp. He was playing pucks well. He was making the saves in the slot. To your point, so I think that also added to my bias here, maybe a little bit in the first. And you just jogged me when you brought that up with the shots they were giving up, because Allmark was there standing tall. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
no, that's fine. It was the shot discrepancy was significant in the second period. I think it was 18-8 something, and I think it was Dale that said it felt like even a lot more than that, which I agreed with. But the first period, it was okay, but I felt the trend was in the period started going towards Toronto. We can discuss the goal that may not have been a goal that is a goal because both the officials on the ice and the Toronto Situation Room backed it up. If you really want to get into it, there's all about an imminent attempt at the net. If Bergeron or the opposing player, defending player, knocks the net off, whether it's intentional or unintentional, that doesn't matter. If the official deems that the puck would have gone in the net due to an imminent scoring threat, and that where the net, regardless where the net is, if the net had been in its area, on its moorings, that it would have gone in. That's what the official said. So the call on the ice was that. They talked about it. I think there's support from the Situation Room. It's like, yeah, they deemed it imminent that he didn't stick handle. He just got the puck. He being, was it Marner in the slot,
Mhm.
and then Tavares was in front. So I mean, regardless of that, I'm with you. You got to respond to that. Okay, but that was that was kind of a microcosm of all of a sudden chances were happening from the slot area as the period went on. I think overall in the period you hit it, or in the game you hit it about the D. The D did not pass the eye test in this game, in the neutral zone and in their own zone. So let's just dive right into the D. What do you do there right now? Because you don't really have an option of, I mean, I guess John Moore, who I hear has been a real pro down in Providence, and he's been doing all the right things and playing well. But I mean, so you're going to take out one guy. You're going to take out Connor Clifton again, right? But
Mhm.
it's more than that. I mean, what do you do, what do you it's what do you do with the pairs? I just think that that is a real pertinent question right now.
It is, and I don't have. Unfortunately, I don't. And to be honest, and this is the bad sign of it. 8 games, 9 games in, is that I don't have a good thought. I don't have a
Yeah.
good opinion. I don't have an opinion that I really truly believe in on this is how the pairing should be.
Yep.
And that makes me a little nervous, to be quite honest, because not, not it, I watch and nothing seems to click. None of the way they're toggling the guys
Mhm.
is clicking, and I'm refraining myself from just putting it on Clifton and the John Moore. I think that seems to seem like a good idea to me, but at the same time, I also know it's not on the sixth guy. That's the easy way out for everybody. It always
Exactly.
is
Always,
to
always.
pull that guy out, and like it's always the coaches always switch the fourth line up when the first line sucks, and I'm going to
Mhm.
try not to do that. But yeah, no, um, that's the problem, is that there's nothing that looks obvious that they should move this guy here and this pairing. It's not even the top pairing isn't automatic.
Right.
It's not. That's the big issue. It's not like you can roll over McAvoy and Forbert or more McAvoy and Grizzlick and that's the answer and let the other two guys figure it out. It's all six of them. All six of them aren't matching up right now.
And let's not forget, this was the same crew that took on the Detroit team the other night and held them to 15 shots on goal that were excellent in the neutral zone. In fact, we featured that in the pregame with the emphasis that this is how they are going to have a similar performance against Toronto to eliminate the high flying Toronto Maple Leaf forwards, especially the top two lines. Lines 3 and 4, I don't want to say they're shit with Toronto, but they're not great. I
No,
mean,
they don't.
Kasha was okay. I mean,
The
he played with the
Bruins
Griffs.
have both of those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's that neutral zone against the top six that has to be great, and they could not eliminate them at all. They couldn't limit them, and in fact, they got beat in the neutral zone. Then they got beat deep in their own zone. Forbert, I think he got, the speed exposed him a bit. Grizzlick got exposed a couple of times with the physical play of the Toronto Maple Leafs, which you don't always say physical play of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they did just that.
No.
Um, yeah, nobody really stood out. So I'm with you. I don't know if there's a good answer. I wonder if it's time for them to try and stick to some pairs for a bit. But that doesn't seem to be Bruce Cassidy's way. Whether it's with the forward lines or the D lines, um, you're going to see a different type of team in Ottawa, but they're going to work their asses off. And maybe, you got 2 games coming up at home in a row, Tuesday and Thursday. Maybe you just try and keep the pairs, I don't know, maybe a little bit more fluid or a little more, similar to get the guys into a little rhythm. That's the only, I guess, comment I can make about that, because I'm kind of with you on it. I don't have a great answer right now because I don't see in front of my eyes a pair that is obvious.
No, no. It just isn't obvious. And when you're, I mean, nothing worse. Like you just even coaching the 2010s and there's nothing worse than not knowing what you're going to have going into a game for coaches. And
Yeah.
and I feel like that's where this is at, and I think that's where that quick trigger is coming from, is that you're just trying to make it work every night because you really don't know what you're getting,
Yeah.
and you don't really have a good sense of it. So, but to that point, that might be the time when you pull back a little bit and say, all right, I'm going to roll with this for 2 or 3 games, bit of a homestand here, and see if we can make it better that way rather than just putting pieces together.
So what did you like about Ullmark's eye test? What did you like? I mean, I thought he was good. I did. I know he said after the game that he shouldn't give up 4 and it's on him. I'll ask you specifically about the one-timer from Austin Matthews, but with the puck on its side as soon as he made contact, I'm going to cut Ullmark a little bit of slack there. I didn't think anything was on him. I thought he was good.
No, I thought it's just his the same way he looked against Florida on last Saturday night. Just the initial the preseason
Mhm.
initial thoughts on him. Well, is he, the lackadaisical and maybe the energy, and is his none of that's he looked like the guy tonight that we saw playing in Buffalo the last couple
Mhm.
years, where again it's not the same as what Tuchel, it's not what we're used to seeing, but he's athletic, he's on the puck, he's diving, he's moving, he's big, he was stopping pucks behind the net, he was being a hockey player, he's being an athletic goaltender, good gloves, smothering, catching lots of pucks that were shot at him all over, whether it was to his left or catching to his right. He just looked dialed in, reading the puck. And um, the Marner goal, whatever, the non-goal, whatever, the Matthews goal, it looked like it moved on him on the way in. The way he reacted, it looked like it was coming right into the B, and it
Mhm.
just the
Like
Mariano
yeah.
Rivera slider away from him. To be honest, I tried to look at it a few times, whether it went off Forbert
Mhm.
in front of him, whether it just
Mhm.
skinned a shin
Attaboy.
pad on the way through. It was, I know, I'm trying. It's still really hard for me. Um, and like I tried to slow it down on my TV. I couldn't really tell because it almost looked that much of a directional move that when it went off that. So no, I like his moxie in a big game in Toronto. I liked he looked like a big game goalie to
So
me.
okay, so that's not silver lining. That's a positive if there was one from the game. Um, I guess David Pastrnak scoring in the third period is a quote unquote positive, but I still need to see more from him. I know he was all right early on. Same thing with Taylor Hall. I thought Hall was engaged early on. He scored the goal, wearing an A tonight. He was very happy. You could tell he's very much engaged. But then a very perimeter, very inconsistent. That's what it came down to. I mean, I look at the fourth line. That was the best Bruins line tonight. Nosek and Frederick and Kuhlman doing their job, 5-on-5 doing their job. I didn't notice much from the second line. Third period, I did a bit. The first line, again, mixed at times. I don't know. I mean,
So
I
watching the way you watched it is, and even just go line to line, if you break
mhm.
it down on the graph off on the graph paper, is Toronto better than them? Are they is the first line second? Are they better?
I would like to think that they are not better depth wise, but I'm after tonight's game, the high end Leafs players outplayed the top 6 Bruins players. They did.
Hmm.
They did. If you're going to call it line 1 and line 2, they were vastly outscored by obviously. Actually, I shouldn't say vastly. I mean, Pasternak had one, Hall had one. So there's 2 guys from your top 6, but
Hmm.
more chances generated by the top 6 of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I thought Tavares was outstanding. He's been great the last 3 games for them, 4 games. He's been outstanding.
Hmm.
And I thought that and Marner was good and Matthews was good. And yeah, are they a better team? I'd like to think goaltending is equal. If I'm still more of a maybe this is not, maybe this is black and gold colored glasses, but I think the Bruins gold tandem is better, but I don't know. Maybe they're not when it's all said and done. Maybe they're both good, but with a lot of issues there. And I would think that the defense would be a little better, but they didn't prove it tonight. And they were outplayed defensive by the defensemen of the Toronto Maple Leafs too.
Muzzin was the best defenseman on the ice,
Mhm.
both teams, which is
Odd to say.
nerve-wracking because
Yeah.
that doesn't get say often.
Yeah.
But he's physical, he's big, and he's physical and physical and
Mhm.
physical. You can keep saying that, and it doesn't matter how poorly he moves the puck because he plays a physical game, and when he has an opportunity to hit guys, he does, and that's the uh, maybe that's the margin of error difference, that it
Mhm.
feels like the Bruins D have to be perfect or very close to it, where a Muzzin doesn't have to be anywhere near it, but he's gonna be physical every night. He doesn't have to make a pass all night, every
Mhm.
night, but you just know what you're gonna get. Where a guy like Riley, if he's not sharp in the neutral zone, and then he gets beat in front of the net by Tavares, it's like very, very obvious.
Yeah.
And that's it's almost sometimes it's better to have that meat and potato guy who's just not always relying on moving the puck because the game's so fast out there. So,
Yeah, I don't know if
um,
I don't think they have
special
that.
teams, penalty kill,
What do you
can
do about
it
the penalty kill?
would you
What do you do?
that's why I'm asking you
Yeah,
first because you're the expert.
yeah. Uh, um, it sure feels different. They're not attacking with the same
Like
veracity at times.
The Matt not getting it out, the second one, right?
Yeah,
It was the second goal. It wasn't the
yeah,
Matthews goal, but not getting it out 4 times. Like,
right. One was bad luck. Who was that? Oh god, I
yep,
can't remember.
really
Lazar.
bad luck. I
But
think it was
okay,
Nosek, was it?
was that okay, so shit
Or
happens.
Lazar, right?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bad luck happens.
yeah.
But, not getting out there, they don't seem to be rotating as quickly and being as aggressive on their reads when they should, attack the 50-50 or not, and, it's not as it's noticeable, and, again, you're talking now Carlo and Forbert are gonna be your top penalty kill pair, and, Forbert didn't clear it once, and then he also had that one, the Matthews goal, the first one where it went fortuitously. He tried to swat the puck, and I think it went right back to Marner, and then Marner had a wide open Matthews in front. That was the one where it went off his skate and then off the pad, and he lofted it there. I'll cut Forbert a little bit of slack on that one because he was turning, attacking, and trying to recover, but still, it's not as right now. It's very inconsistent, and it doesn't feel like it's situated well or well enough for this team. I don't know because you're using the guys, Razor, that are your penalty killers. 63 and 37, and Nosek and Lazard 92 and 20, and you're using Coyle, who's always killed penalties, and I think and Howlett's getting some time. I don't know. I like again. I don't want to go crazy, but now you're talking a high skilled team in Toronto you lose to on the road. You lose to Carolina on the road. You lose to Florida on the road. Yes, it's nice you beat Florida back at home. Absolutely. But I want more consistency. I know we're just 9 games in, but I want more consistency. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is. No, it is fair, and I think that's where going on the show tonight, I'm thinking like, really, it's like, all right, like it's so early, and
Mhm,
I know we do talk radio. It's a podcast. You have to talk about it, but at the same, it's not. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same, and your eye test right at the
mhm.
start. That's where I'm with the penalty kill as well. Listen, the 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 power play and the penalty kill have been the top 5 in the league
Right,
consistently
right.
for what feels like 9 years, or, like, even when I was playing
All
8
right.
years ago.
You're right. But think of the change in personnel that they
Mhm,
have seen, partner, both on both units. The Krug and the Krejci, 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago, Krug was there. Last year, Krejci was there. Gone. That's significant. Significant.
mhm.
Penalty kill, your Chara, your Kevin Miller. You go back to a couple of years, you had guys like Nordstrom, that were
Yep.
great on the
No,
PK.
that's right. Great, great.
So,
No, you're exactly right. So I guess so. The point of that is okay. The special team, you can't rely on winning games, special teams. So now you have to find a way to win them other ways,
Yeah, and they're
and
not.
and that's going to be the challenge. That doesn't look like it's possible right now. But these other teams do win games, not being in the top five in one or the other. And the Bruins are going to have to figure that one out.
All right, let's take a couple of questions here on Morning Brew. That we had a bunch that came in. I put some out on Twitter, and um, they're all
Chum in the water.
yeah,
That
chum in the
is the
water. We'll just take a handful of them
absolutely.
because I'm ready to go to bed. I'm ready to. I got an early
Yeah, me
morning,
too. It's
and
Saturday night.
yep. Why for the last 3+ years is the second period performance complete trash? That's from Trigger. Trigger wants to know. They have struggled in the second period.
They
It's
do,
it's
and it is
it's
noticeable now.
yeah. That first period intensity is great. They cannot seem to corral. It's like the neutral zone for them in the second period becomes a real conundrum. They can't. They don't seem to step up at the. They don't seem to gap as well. They don't. They don't seem to handle. I guess it's the longer. It's not even the longer change. It's just the longer play. It's a fair question that Trigger asked.
I'm it hasn't it just completely dawned on me right now. It's
Hmm.
the exact same reason why they stink 3 on 3 and why it's hard for them to watch them. They don't keep possession very well.
Hmm.
They like to make a pass, they like to dump it into each other, but what happens in the second period when those get broken up, they go down to the other end and the other team keeps possession. Similar to 3 on 3 that we saw against Florida last Saturday night. It's a perfect example where the
Yep.
Bruins almost like dump it into nobody, then it goes the other way and then they get hemmed into their zone. And that momentum seems to carry in the second period. That thinking about that tonight, the plays where they can maybe they get a change, but they turn the puck back and go and regroup and change incrementally rather than all at once just dumping it in after being hemmed in their zone. Hold on to it, regroup on their own. I think there's a bit of a possession issue in the second period that they get away with in the first and third, being a little bit quicker with their play. Maybe they have to slow things down to the point where they regroup, change at the same time.
I know that might be changing the
But that's changing
DNA,
the philosophy,
the philosophy, right?
exactly. So
I don't know, but they haven't been great in the seconds. Obviously, I don't have the numbers in front of me. Forget just this year. I'm talking the last
especially
couple of
on
years.
the road,
Yes,
Philly,
yes,
all their losses, Philly, Florida, Carolina, second period, Toronto. Now those 4 losses on the road have been brutal second periods.
yeah. Early goals, early chances given up. Let's run through these. Dimitri, my guy Soteropoulos, we kind of answered this. Should Cassidy stick to set pairs on D? Dimitri, we talked about that already. I wouldn't mind seeing that for you know 2 games. I don't know if you're gonna because you're gonna go from Ottawa, and then your next game's
And then
against
you got McDavid. What are you
Edmonton.
going to do with this McDavid character on Thursday
Right.
night?
So exactly. So there. Um, let's see here. Matt at Boss Addy. With the current Bruins roster, how do the Breeze create a spark on offense? And how much the lack of scoring is due to a few days off between games? They haven't had a few days off between this game and last game. They had 1 day off. Are they completely in a rhythm? No, but Matt P. They should be. I don't know. They have to start creating more 5-on-5 offense. Stop me if you've heard that before. But how do you spark more offense? Well, maybe like Razor said, maybe you do a little something different. I don't know how much you can really change the lines. I mean, you are what you are right now. Unless you again, like John Moore on the back end, do you call up the kid, Studnicka, or I guess he's up, but do you put him in the lineup? Is that going to be the answer? Rhetorically asking. Caitlin Giuliano, our friend, why are the pucks just not going in for most of our guys? Well, we kind of touched on that. With the way the season has started, it seems the Bruins are playing at a disadvantage before the games have started. She's trying to be optimistic, but it is hard. Um, I think when you're not when I think that's a classic fan feel though there, Razor. Like when you know
Mhm.
your team as well as our fans, the fans of the Bruins do, the fans that listen to the show. I think there's such good hockey people that they understand, it's like it's like you see the flaws in your kids more than anything, right? Instead of sometimes the good stuff. I get it. I get it. But I don't know. I mean, are they down a goal
No,
before the
I
season begins? No.
no, that's kind of where I'm at as well. That it's a perfect point with the kids, and you always give them a harder time than you give other kids, other friends, and you look at them in a different way and more critical way at times. And I feel like that's early on in the season. We're so used to this team coming out of the gates 9-0, 9-1-0, 9-1-2, and the fact that they're not there right now. We're beating up on them a little bit. It doesn't pass the eye test. There are reasons to be critical, but stay optimistic. It's still, we got a whole bunch of 73 games left.
Yeah. Stand up Bruins guy. Why the hell was there a Grizz and Riley pairing
Yeah, that
out
didn't
there?
work out. That's the one pairing we can count on not seeing against Connor McDavid on Thursday night.
Or David McConnor. If I don't need to. I'm with him. No,
No, that was a tough one.
that's a
A
tough
tough
one.
shift.
Let's see. I want to run through here. Stefan Wiggum. Uh, yeah, it's Stefan
Chief.
L. It says a lot of attention is paid to the power play for good reason, but isn't the Bruins penalty kill their potential Achilles heel? We talked about that it hasn't been good. How does this PK squad get better? Is it just a matter of comfortability? Well, there's always some of that, but it's also of desperation. It's also of
Mhm.
changing your routes perhaps just a little bit. It
Islanders crushed them in the playoffs too, right?
Yeah,
On the PP.
yeah, yeah.
So there's more of a
Here's one more.
case log
Luke
for
actually
that.
got two more. Lucas Saunders. Yeah. Lucas Saunders wants to know thoughts on the officiating tonight. Seemed to have missed a lot of cross checks, which the league is cracking down on. Frustrated there was no matching penalty on the Marchand penalty. Let's see. I also didn't like Toronto getting that goal confirmed on their first goal. All right. Well, Lucas, we already discussed that first goal that went in. It's an interpretation by the official. It's his call on the ice, not just to call it a goal, but then to be able to go review it and use the information that's given to him. I said on the air, Razor, I wasn't sure. I didn't think that one would count, but you go, I try and talk to the situation room people. I corral some information, and the feeling is that goal, the imminent opportunity happened, and the goal was taken off, albeit accidentally, but it was taken off by a defending player. So therefore, it would have gone in if the official deemed that the puck would have gone in if the net had been left on its pegs. Okay, I can't tell you I 1,000% agree, but it is what it is. What did I think on the officiating in general? I thought it was just it was okay. It was Lucas, it was
Yeah,
fine.
it was
I
okay
mean,
for both sides. I mean, that Tavares call on Pasternak. I don't
right.
know, was that in the first? I
Yeah.
mean, the trip and I mean, early in the third. It was right away in the third. I mean, that's like it went both ways. They were very very okay for everybody tonight.
Yeah.
That's certainly not the Bruins' excuse.
No. Last one from let's see, Glenn. Let's see, Glenn 84129018. He
Mhm.
wants to know, why does it look like Barry gets dressed in the dark? I I mean I
Did you write that one?
no, that's from
Is that your burner
it
account?
must just wants
Are
to
you
know.
Glenn from Smith Falls?
um, Glenn, I don't know. We need to get Barry on here one day and ask him about his dressing. Actually, I thought tonight he actually had colors
Yeah, I thought you looked good.
that
No, you looked
that
all right, I
coordinate. I
thought.
mean, Dale and Barry had the
Yeah.
had the gray. I called you, you called me. We were the gray. It's like you and I had the
Yeah,
blue
we
man
do that
group.
every once in a while too, I know. We do
Yep.
have we're starting to text each other now to make
Yeah.
sure.
By the way, Dale had the Raycroft brown they're not running
Mhm.
shoes, casual shoes, dress shoes on tonight. He got them
He
and
did.
he won 'em. Yeah.
He did. He gave me a hard time for a long time, but he's come to the dark side on those. So,
Hey, if they're comfortable and you wear 'em, they're good.
mhm.
All right,
Right.
listen, we appreciate all the
Yeah, we're
comments, especially the last
for
question
sure.
was a great one. I don't know, Barry. I'm not sure. Barry may have some color coordination things, but that's okay. It makes Barry Barry. It makes that's why we love him to death. And you know what? We love our listeners too. So thank you for listening and taking time here. Bruins lose 5-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, a hockey night in Canada game that went the way for the team from Canada and not so much for the Boston Bruins. Hang in there, Bruins fans. We agree it needs to be better. Let's see if on Tuesday night it can be better. Tuesday night, the Boston Bruins take on the Ottawa Senators at TD Garden. That game will be at 7 o'clock. And we'll have all the pregame for you, by the way, starting at 6. And then we will have a morning brew for you. Next week's morning brew schedule after Tuesday's game. So Tuesday night after Ottawa, and then after Sunday's game. So we will not do a show after Thursday or Saturday afternoon when they go at New Jersey, but we will do a game after Sunday night's game against the Montreal Canadiens. All right. Got anything else to add, partner, before you go nighty night?
No, I'm about to yawn. Nighty night.
All right.
Yeah.
So we
It's
will see
harder when
you.
you don't play. When you
It is,
yeah.
yes. We will see you in down south on Sunday morning. I believe we have the game. We have the game after you if you're still planning on going down there. So, yes,
Perfect. Yeah,
I
you'll see my
believe.
parents, the whole crew. Maybe we'll watch a little bit of extra time.
Well, let's hope that the kids ended up finding a way to win on Saturday over Providence. However, let's just say Coach was anything but happy
Oh
as
boy.
how they played. But you know what? Sometimes you win games you shouldn't, and sometimes you lose game you shouldn't either. All right, that'll wrap it up. That's it for Morning Brew. Everybody, enjoy the extra hour of sleep on Sunday, and as always, enjoy that coffee.